What's up, guys? I'm back. Um, man, just listen to Joey Diaz. Shout out to Joey Diaz, man. He a realist like a motherfucker. From my perspective, like he understands our mental, and sometimes you just gotta just put yourself out there, man, and just go hard. But he just gave me some inspiration when he was talking about stability don't mean jack shit. Like a lot of people too comfortable with stability. It's like sometimes, like I say, you gotta jump out there and just see. And in that sense of, some people always feel like they foundation has to be perfect before they get out and do shit. I forgot whose song was out there. I forgot who sung that song. I want to say B.O.B., but I always be saying the wrong fucking person names. But I feel like it was B.O.B. or somebody who was just saying like, fuck saying you got it all together before you gonna make this change. And I'm gonna just get into pretty much the stability, going through hell to create heaven. Pretty much gonna be my title. And reason why is because nigga, like you, when you create anything new, there's no foundation, there's no stability. So you gonna go through hell. It's like creating a real fucking foundation. Like, let me look at my notes. I created notes for you niggas so y'all know I'm on point. Let me see. Can I exit out of my? We about to see. Okay, so I can't go off. If I exit out of here, it won't let me see it. But I'm gonna still just do that. It's just gonna have to pause. But pretty much the first thing I say is like you go through a new. If you start off a new foundation, you start off a new company, you start off a new whatever, a new you. We want it to be heaven, but in that same sense, like if you created the heaven right off the back, think about all the different bullshit you'll have to go through once you have a successful business. Like you're gonna meet all these new people, all these new experiences, and you're not gonna know what to do because you never been through shit. And literally, you just built your foundation off of just whatever. It's an example, so I really don't have nothing to say. But in the sense of like, if you was a rich kid, maybe your parents handed down some money to you, or maybe you knew somebody and they gave you an opportunity, maybe too fast that you weren't ready for. You're gonna squander that opportunity just because you're not ready for that experience yet, even though you might think you are mentally, but you literally haven't been through certain things. So it's like you gonna have questions and want to go to somebody else and be like, hey, how you do this, how you do that, instead of going through certain shit already yourself and having that shit figured out for yourself. Now you trying to go to somebody else and think about this. When you're in a relationship, you ask somebody, what should I do in this relationship? 9 times out of 10, they're gonna relate to their past experiences and however, whatever story you told them resonates with them. Most likely, they're gonna be like, cut that nigga off, cheat on that nigga, do you, whatever, or do fuck that bitch, whatever. Y'all know the same old shit, but it's like you can listen to their advice that came from their experiences, but you can go through your shit, figure out how you truly feel, and see what you really want to do about life. Do you want to stick it out with this person? Do you want to leave this person? Are you like fuck this person? It just depends. Everybody different, but don't just go to somebody else and think they gonna have the right answer for you because they went through it already. Like no, just because they went through that shit, they might feel a whole lot worse than you did. Her boyfriend might treat her a whole lot worse than your boyfriend treating you, but she's still gonna put that energy onto your dude or to your girl because that's just how it is. Like it's been many niggas. Like if you got a homeboy, they be like, fuck these bitches. 10 times out of 10, that nigga hurt. Some bitch and broke that nigga heart. Some, like, somewhere in life. Or they mama, somebody, goddamn, granny, somebody wasn't there as a woman figure. And now that translate on to later on. So think if I was to get relationship advice from one of my homeboys that had mother problems or mother issues, nigga, he wouldn't give me nothing successful. So it's like the same shit where if you was starting a business and you ask somebody else about their business, they might have failed or maybe they don't have a business. They might have failed or trying or whatever. They're gonna give you from that experience or their lack of experience. Like now, the best person you would want to talk to is somebody that is successful and somebody that has failed. Because you talk to somebody that's only successful, they're gonna give you that bullshit. Anybody can do it. Whatever. You just need to do this, do that, do this, or whatever. And it's like, no, it's not that easy either. Give me the realism, give me everything. And even then, it's like it's hard to relate because there's somebody else's shoes. You be like, well, damn, they obstacles too different than mine, so it's still not the same. So, like I said, whenever you build the foundation, bro, you gonna have to go through hell. And people hate that hell word, but it's just a fucking word. Like nigga, you gotta go through the mud, you gotta go through the dirt, you gotta grind it out. Either way it go, it's gonna be some hard shit. I can say hard, I can whatever. It's not gonna be easy. Like somebody told you that shit. It's perspective. Like that just is what it is. But I'm just saying that for the most part, you're gonna go into something not knowing some shit. And whenever you don't know shit, nigga, it's a good chance that something don't go your way. The odds don't play out in your favor, or at least how you think it's going to play out. And that's how you have to. Sometimes you go through shit just to see how it does play out in a full effect. Because you always thinking this how to go, this how to go, or whatever. And it's like you wouldn't truly know till you go through it, and then you never go through the exact same experience. So you can go through something else with a whole nother business partner and treat them like the past, but it's like, no, you got to start understanding and evaluating that, go through, just been through it from a long time. Like Joey Diaz said, he don't get burnt no more in Hollywood because he not taking them offers that don't come with no money no more. He used to do those things like, man, I got a great opportunity for you. It just don't pay. And he did that so many times before he got burnt. And even when a good opportunity came that was just like that, he was like, no, I can't do it because I still know, even though it's a good script and all that shit, I know when it don't have no money behind it, it's not funded. Nobody's trying to invest in it, and it's going to take too much. And it's going to give me more hell trying to create this thing, even though it could be successful as hell, but it's going to take a lot more of me than me just playing a role. It's going to be some more shit. Damn, I just watched the fucking episode. I wish I could. Maybe I put the link in there so y'all can see what video I'm talking about. But yeah, he was like, man, this is another thing he was saying. Like for women, y'all gotta suck 10,000 dicks before you can find the right husband. For a man, we gotta suck 2,000. It's not literally sucking 2,000, but it's going through tucking your ego, tucking your pride, tucking all that shit to stand in another man's system and tell you what he wants from you, instead of doing it for yourself. And that's any job. There's any, if you're working with somebody, a business partner, if they got more invested in you, you got to listen to them, bro, because they got more money involved or more money invested. And that's what you do. That's what happens when you give them somebody that much percentage or whatever. But yeah, man, it's the understanding, like, bro, sexual, mentally, like whatever, bro, like you're gonna have to, what do you call it, be a suck up, kiss ass, whatever that shit. And that's what a lot of people don't understand when I talk about Cat Williams versus Kevin Hart. It's like, yeah, you can become as big as you want, but trust me, you sucking a lot of dicks, you kissing a lot of ass, because you're going through this, also going to what Mike F say, a bunch of gatekeepers. Everybody corporation, you want to work with them. Like, nigga, you gotta talk to these people. You gotta meet with these people, honestly. And you gotta see what they say and all that shit. Go through meetings that you don't want to go through just to test the waters. Like, you gotta take meetings that you normally wouldn't take just because, I mean, you want to be a good guy. Like, for instance, gonna relate back to Joey Diaz, he'll turn down an interview. I mean, not an interview. He'll turn down a meeting, and they'll feel bad. They'll cuss him out and shit. He like, well, I'm not about to waste my time. Like, I took my time to think about if I wanted to do it. Now I want to do it. If you feel bad about that shit, oh well, I can't do nothing about that. But it goes to a point where, bro, you don't even take certain meetings because you know it's just a waste of your time. It's not what you're really trying to do. But like I said, when you're trying to get big and big and big, like, bro, you got to meet up with some people that you might not want to meet or be in a room with, because they the ones with money, period. They're the real investors, or the ones that's going to push your shit out. Like, for instance, we know of black people. Kevin Hart might not have to be a kiss ass to not anybody like CBS or anything because he has his own network. But for instance, he has to kiss the media ass. He got to do a lot of publicity runs and shit like that, whatever you call it. And whenever he want to do a rollout or anything, he got to go to these people, media places, and then kiss ass there. Because it's like, well, I got my independent shit, but I'm going to still come here and get y'all some money so I can also reciprocate. Y'all can give my energy to my shit, because they wouldn't talk about your shit if they don't have no benefit to it, you know, if they're not getting anything from it. Like, for instance, Hot 97, they always gonna promote that one concert, Summer Jam or whatever. That's because that's their shit. They're not gonna promote just any old concert unless it's some type of benefit. Like, is your star artist going to come to our platform, bring his people there, get us some views also? Then we'll talk about it. But we're just not going to talk about it just because you're in our city or some shit. Like, it wouldn't matter to them because they're not invested. And yeah, I'm just going off on a tangent, giving examples that I can find. But yeah, man, you're going to have to kiss ass no matter where you want to go, because it's really about keeping the masses liking you. And brother, to be honest, we already know the media has the masses in the crutch right now. And shit, if the media say something bad about you, that's the truth. Like, LeVar could have chose to kiss ass, and maybe his JBA to look a lot different. Maybe, I'm gonna get into him a little later and some shit that they said about him. But maybe his shit would be a lot better. People wouldn't look at him as bad if he was, you know, a more he's not aggressive, but a non-aggressive male type shit, or not, that people consider him maybe a toxic male if you look at the feminist movement or whatever. But yeah, pretty much. Let me just go to my next topic about this topic too. But pretty much just finish what I'm saying. Like anything you go into, you're gonna have to understand that it's gonna be new experiences. Period. And if you're not ready for those new experiences, you gotta understand that shit might stress you out. It might overwhelm you because it's just something new that you never done with before. Think about how nervous you get when you go meet somebody new, or how nervous you get when you go into a new setting, a new environment. Like it's a different energy. So think about elevating that more to a sense of like if you was creating a new um, if you was creating a business for yourself, the levels of anxiety you would have and certain shit like that, where you're taking a leap of faith, not relying on somebody else's systems or jobs or getting paid every 2 weeks, and now you taking a leap of faith, like nigga, I might not get paid till next month or 2 months from now, but if I can make this one big thing happen now, I might, it's just different. It's a lot. It's you take more risk in a sense, and it's going to, like I said, the next thing was stability, and pretty much understanding that you can't always change once the shit happens because it's too late then. You got to be prepared before it happens. And I forgot who talks about this, but it's like, nigga, you can want to take the last game winning shot, but if you haven't practiced that shot in practice or at home as a little kid, that 3-2-1 like 10,000 times already, bro, when you really get in that moment, you're going to fucking freeze up. And that's with anything, bro. If you say, let's just think about some opportunities. Say you, anything, bro. Like it's anything. I don't want to just get into examples like that, but for instance, like people will wait till marriage to be that loyal husband or loyal wife or whatever. Like I'll be this whenever that is. But it's like, how can you get to the husband or wife material without being a girlfriend or boyfriend first? And it's like people want to skip steps and shit, but you can't do that because you got to understand going through a girlfriend boyfriend shit for a certain amount of time will teach you how to be a husband and a wife to somebody. And I talk about this in one of my videos before, talking about, nigga, your girlfriend, your boyfriend, you baby them until you make a baby. And then you have that experience of how you used to treat and pamper them. Now you pampering your fucking kids. So it translates. Like, if you can't take care of me, if you can't love me, why the fuck would I think you can love something that comes out of me, in which would be a kid? Like that, like people might think that's crazy, but that's the honest to God truth, bro. Like you have to think of it to that extent. Like, I'm not taking care of no nigga, I ain't taking care of no bitch. What if y'all had a kid together? Like, where's that? Like, you're not gonna take care of your baby mom. You're not gonna take care of your baby dad. Well, I wouldn't want to call him that, but you're not gonna want to be invested and make sure that y'all are good. So your kids, like, it's to it. You gotta understand that shit. But people want to wait till somebody they feel like they got a good dude in front of them. Now all of a sudden I'm marriage material. I'm a good girlfriend, but it's like, nah, you haven't even been practicing or even focusing on that in yourself. You haven't gave a fuck about nobody but yourself. So when you get into another relationship where it's a dude that needs to be cared about, which is also going to translate to him caring about you, you all selfish, all about me, 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 me. And nobody, a real nigga don't want to hear that shit. I was watching some shit on Facebook. She was like, why you playing the game every time I come home or some shit like that? He was like, man, you're ignoring me or some shit like that. He was like, I'm not ignoring you. It's just I come home from work and this and this and this and that. This happened, this happened. She's like, okay, well, she like, boy, all right. She's like, okay, stop. And then she went to go into her monologue and what happened to her and why the reason she originally wanted him to stop playing the game. Because she had some shit to say. When he really ready to start talking, which he want to say his 2 cents, and now you're gonna be able to talk. Period. And it's like, well, you're gonna cut him off. So really you just trying to get off some shit you gotta say. Then he go back to playing the game. You really not really whatever. That video annoying me, but yeah, shit like that where women be like, I wanna talk and all that shit, but no, you wanna talk, you don't really care about what he has to say. And same for men too. Niggas would be wanting to whatever. But pretty much even to, like, I know people like this, they're like, I keep my car clean when I get a better car, or I keep my house clean when I get a better house. Like, no, nigga, you're just dirty. And it's going to be dirty when you get to the next step. If you're not taking care of the shit you're doing now, you're not going to be able to do it in the future, period. Like, it's not just going to magically happen. Like, for instance, I haven't told anybody this shit but myself. It came to a point in my life where I was like, all right, I'm done with this shit. I just need to be able to be faithful in myself. Like, fuck all this player shit. Like, it's cool for a little bit. It was cool for a minute. I'm good off that shit. Ain't shit really lasting. Ain't like I'm tired of meeting new people, having the same ass conversation. Like, let's go back to being faithful. Let's go back to being that dude that you used to be in high school. Stop being scary and all that shit because you've been heartbroken so many times. Now you want to be a player. So it took me there, and I literally said it before I got in a relationship, and that made me when I got into the relationship, nigga. I'm all about you now. I'm good because I figured that out before I got in a relationship. It wasn't like, oh, let me find a good girl, then I'm gonna be good. No, nigga, they don't work like that. You still gonna have habits and shit like that in your mind that you're not ready for when you get in that relationship type shit. But if you was already thinking and processing and doing certain shit, going through the emotions, going through the habits and breaking or making, like nigga, then once you get in that relationship, you gonna see how much better and you are in the long run. It don't have shit to do with the other person. It's just some internal shit, bro. Like period. It's like somebody that want to work out or something, bro. Like I don't know how the fuck I'm about to tie this shit in, but you know how people be lazy and shit. Like nigga, I want to work out. I want to do this. I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna do this. But nigga, you not gonna. You can say all that shit, but till you get in that weight room, you're not gonna be consistent. You're not gonna do none of this shit you want to do. So in that same sense, in the sense of saying that you go, yeah, that went against what I said because I was in a sense of I said be doing it before you get there. But in that same sense, like you know, people that just all talk. Even though I want to be in the gym, that's really what I'm using that point towards. But yeah, stability is not always great. Like Flightbus talked about this. Some people are too has too much moderation, because too much moderation can be bad. I understand that. Too much budgeting can be bad. You become that cheap person. So you gotta understand, like too much stability, too much comfort, you start to not grow anymore because you're not meeting new experiences, you're not meeting new challenges, which in turn you learn more from. And let me see what I think I had something else to say, but I don't know. Maybe it's in another. What you watch, man? Pretty much, man. The next thing I wanted to say is every foundation you start has to start from dirt. That's my interpretation of hell. I'm looking for my blunt. Every foundation. Ugh. Bear with me, my friends. I just had it. Oh, there you go. Feeling beside the couch. And I was about to be like, where my lighter at? This shit always happen. Yeah, man. Every foundation you start with starts from the dirt. And that's what, like I said, that's what I consider hell. That's what I consider, not going to be easy because that's the beginning process, bro. And I hate when it start doing that because then it starts skipping. Whatever. Let me light this up real quick. Well, yeah, I mean, for the most part, if you just look at anything, bro, once you build the foundation, everything start to get easier. Once you lay that when you look at people building houses, once they get that concrete down, bro, they put that wood up, nigga, and you be like, a week later, the shit be done. Once that cement set, nigga, once they built they make sure they level the ground, the dirt and all that shit get to popping. Damn, I think I just got another little message, but I don't know if I'm gonna be able to tie it in. But pretty much like, if you want to have a high ceiling, nigga, you gotta dig deep. Like the higher you get, the higher you want your. If you let's say we building skyscrapers, say you want to build a 20-story building, you gotta dig 10 feet in the ground to put your stilts in so it can hold that 40-foot building up. If you want to build a 100-foot skyscraper, you got to dig 50 feet into the ground before you can start building your fucking skyscraper. So a lot of times you got to dig deeper before you can even start building. And that's the shit that's not going to be easy. That's the shit you're going to have to face and be real with. And then you're going to understand what I mean when I say hell, because I really believe you got to create hell to understand what your heaven's going to be. Like, you go through hell, you go through all these experiences that's hellish. Just low vibrational against you in a sense because you're not your most wise. So almost even wisdom will play against you, nigga, because you're not wise, nigga. So anybody with wisdom is gonna outplay you. So you have to gain wisdom so you can start learning the game. So then you can beat out other wisdom that's smaller than you or not, in the sense that we talk about Pokemon, they level just not as good as your level. Or they not on the same level that you on or whatever. So in the same sense of business, like niggas got business skills that they've been doing business for 20, 30 years. They understand tactics better than you do. Like there's like war tactics in a sense. Like nigga, you move on the war field different. Like what's that book called? 48 Laws of Power or whatever. Or nah, that's not it. It's something. This I think it's called the Law of War or the Book of War or some shit like that from some Chinese dude. But I might. Okay, we back. She had to reconnect, but yeah, it's just like the art of war. Like you can use war tactics in business. Of course, you're not trying to murder or kill nobody, but you use those cutthroat tactics in the same business aspect. So these people have these ideas and these tactics that they have because they've been built their foundation. Been built their structure, and that structure's been thriving for 20, 30 some odd years, maybe even longer than that. Maybe it's some generational shit that's been passed down to them. So they got their knowledge, their wisdom, and past wisdom that's been almost the same shit that they were on. Because I mean, it's the same, it's the same business or whatever. But yeah, I mean, you have to understand that shit. You got to learn, take your lumps, and do all those different things. Go over your peaks and bumps where some shit might be, some lessons are easier than others, so you breeze through them hoes versus other ones are harder, bro. Just like any other thing in fucking life, bro. Relationships or whatever. Like the beginning of relationships is weird because you had that honeymoon phase, but once you get out of that honeymoon phase, that's when you start learning each other. And that's the true beginning of your relationship. Once y'all get past the blind emotions and shit, when you really start seeing who that person is, like when y'all around each other, especially when you stay with somebody. Like nigga, them first months or 2 months or 3 months, nigga, you gotta really understand like, oh shit, I'm living with somebody and I gotta move totally different than if I was staying by myself. And there's gonna be some lumps and arguments that you wouldn't have in year 30 because literally, nigga, you know who your person and you dealing with. Like nigga, it's just time built with each other. Time built in that profession, time built in that space. So it's the same thing with any foundation. Going back to like I said, you gotta dig deep and shit. Like the higher you want to build your pyramid, nigga, the stronger your foundation is going to be. The longer you got to take with your foundation, nigga. And for some people, if you looking and comparing with other people, it's going to feel like hell. It's like, why I don't have what I want? Why I don't have what I want when everybody else seems to be satisfied? A lot of people are satisfied because they didn't have a lot to build, nigga. They had a small foundation to build on. They built a 1-story, 2-story house and called it a day. And that's what satisfies them. Some people are trying to build empire. Some, if you look at solar, my nigga Lil Wayne want to be a solar system, so understand how long that empire would take to build. He probably been doing that for a couple of lives type shit. But in that same aspect, whatever. I feel like I'm about to get off topic with that couple of lives shit. But yeah, it's just understanding like the bigger your goals, nigga, the more you gotta learn, the more wisdom you're gonna have to come into, the more shit you're gonna have to see what's truly against you or what's truly holding you back in a sense. Because, like I say, even with relationships, like your relationship, if y'all just moving to the house together, it's not like it wasn't just because y'all arguing and shit now, like y'all more than y'all arguing than when y'all stay together. It don't mean that the relationship is still not thriving. It just means y'all have to figure out a lot more shit, a lot more faster, so these arguments come up a lot quicker because y'all stand in the same space. Versus if you at home, they at home, y'all get to go back home, cool off, and do all this thinking before shit build up to a true argument where y'all get the shit out and release and then feel better about shit. Because a lot of arguments, bro, you feel better after. So you get all that shit out the way early, and like I say, you can see how it's still working, even though you feel whatever. But yeah, foundations. What else I wanted to say? Yeah, I mean, just the bigger your foundation, the more you got to go through, and it's not gonna necessarily translate to bad. It's just understanding your energy Are you ready to go through these lessons, or are you faking it? If you faking it, bro, you're gonna go through the lessons that come through you half-ass. You're not really gonna be paying attention. You're not gonna really be observing, and that leads to you going through the shit more than once. So that's a lot of times we be stuck in a cycle too, trying to build certain foundations, because we're not really trying to build those things, and that's where you get religion and shit from. Because a lot of us think religion is our house. No, ma'am. No, ma'am. Your temple is your house, but whatever. In that same understanding, people think flat Earth is their house. People think their job is their everything. People think, no, nigga, that's just a foundation you stand on, and then you go from there. Like Joey Diaz is not a fucking crackhead. That's a foundation he stand on. Like he's a comic now. He's a comedian. But yes, he used to do a little meth, a little crack, a little whatever. But that didn't make him who he was. That wasn't just who he was. Like when we look at niggas that just play sports, oh, he's just a jock. It's not so much like that now. But before social media came out where niggas can express themselves, yeah, these niggas was just dumb idiots. Or black men was just brutal beasts before we got to get media out and us expressing our own art and showing it without having a white person distort it and telling us how they think we are. But yeah, don't even know how I brought that up, but I just be flowing through thoughts and I be forgetting where them hoes came from. But yeah, I mean, the Joey Diaz crack football player is just the foundations you build. Like some people think just because you at this one step, that's gonna be everything. Like you can be a rapper now and a movie creator next, but if you stuck on being a rapper, you may rap a religion and shit. I know some people like that. KRS, I fuck with KRS. I learned a lot from him. That's the foundation I use, but I could have got stuck on that shit. And the same shit is where rap is this, rap is that, rap is this, rap is that. It's like, yeah, it is. That's the foundation it came from. But look what that foundation has led. And look what it's created, and created some new shit. And you can look at it as bad or good or indifferent. But at the same time, at the end of the day, it still created that shit, regardless of the fact of whatever foundations or religions you think you had. You didn't move on from the shit that you didn't move on to the original foundation. So you want to hold on to that shit, make it a religion, start missing out on shit. But yeah. For instance, somebody can get stuck with making a style. Like just because one style worked for them, they only hold on to that style now. Say if you're making music, you only want to create trap music, or you only want to create this, but you got more insight in life, but you're scared that other people won't accept you. So you don't want to build on that foundation. So you make a religion out of trap music or trap soul or whatever shit. You know how Six Black talk about not wanting to do that shit in his first album. He understood that shit way before, and that's probably because he paid attention to other people before him. And then he said he been in the game for a minute too with Flow Rider, and he understood he'd been through that shit before where it wasn't for him. Now that he's really about, I mean, he was always about his shit in a sense, but now that he had more experience and more wisdom, he know for a fact it's not gonna work. Because a lot of times, Joey Diaz is just talking about this. He say, fuck listen to your grandpa or your uncle that tell you to get that stability job, nigga. Just sometimes just go out there and go live, because you're gonna get being out there. Say for him, for instance, say he do stand up all day every day. He gonna run into more people, meet new people versus doing it part time. So now you get less opportunities, less experience, less reps, all that. So in that same sense, you gotta understand where's the median. And of course, if you got kids and shit, it's a certain level that you gotta stability you might want to have, but sometimes you're not afforded that that luxury. But yeah, for the most part, yeah, I mean, like I said, don't always listen to that grandpa, that uncle or whatever, because whatever foundations they built on, that's what they preaching from. They don't know your vision, they don't know your goals. A lot of people be happy, bro. It was a girl I used to be cool with, whatever, probably still cool. Who knows? Who don't fuck. But she used to say, "Why I don't have this? Why I don't have that?" It's like, well, some people accomplish shit and got all that shit because that's all they really want: a husband, wife, a nice house, and that's it. They don't want to be famous, or they don't want to be a rock star. They don't want to have billions. They don't want to have trillions. So they get that shit fast. It don't take much to get a house and to keep that and maintain that. I mean, there's many people in the world doing that. That's not happiness, and it's just because you accomplish that shit because you think they're happy. They might be happy in that space, but your space needs to be a lot bigger. You might want a mansion. You might not want a one-story house. You might not want a two-story house. Maybe you cool with having a one-story house, but you don't want no neighbors. Maybe you want to be on acres and shit. So now you got to have acres, and now it's like a farm in a sense, but whatever, or a ranch. but it takes more to build. It takes more to afford that. So you're gonna have to go through more shit than they did. Yeah, to get a house and shit, you need school, a nice little job, and that's about it. But the fact that we don't want to go through certain shit shows you that that's not necessarily built for you. A lot of us that drop out, bro, we're not meant to just be that normal person that's just going into operating society. People that go through college are the best pawns in society because you've been pushed through 18 plus 4, 22 years or more years of programming, and you prove successful that you can do it even if you've been held back at times or whatever. You've proved successful after 22 years, nigga. And we already talk about college amplifies everything, like from high school, the cliques and shit. Now it's frats and shit. So now you get those things, and they amplify your opportunities in the future. You go through their rigorous processes and trying to earn and get into their clubs, because a lot of people just think it's all about the getting your ass whooped and getting hazed and shit. Nah, nigga, you need like a 3.0 or 3.5. You gotta pay like $2 or $4,000. It's way more shit to getting these frat and shit like that than just being hazed and cutting your hair off. It's some lot of energy you gotta put into that shit, and it's more than just being, popular. So you gotta be willing to do the work and also suffer the consequences and all this other different shit before you can get or reap the benefits. And once you go through that shit, 22 or more years, nigga, like, yes, you should be programmed to be a good ass slave, bro. But the people that's always getting kicked out of school, the people that's always getting in trouble or into it with authority, is because you're trying to create something that's not already here. You're trying to create something different. You're not trying to create or survive off some other shit because you don't like authority. So obviously you cannot create with authority or somebody over your head. And if you do, you have to understand your energy. And it's not something long term that you're gonna want to do. Period. But yeah, I mean, like I say, when we compare each other, it put us even in a more hellish state for the most part. I ain't gonna say you shouldn't compare yourself, because a lot of times that comparison, you can learn lessons from other people before you go through it. That's how I look at it. Look, that's where you start to fall off. But if you look at somebody else and say they're different, I just want to learn from them and maybe implement the things that I see good. That's a bigger difference. But yeah, let's see what else. Off the foundations. Just to wrap up, like I said, every foundation starts from dirt, nigga. Every foundation starts from dirt. The mud, whatever you want to call it. And the higher you want to build, the deeper you have to dig in the dirt, in the mud, in hell, in whatever hardship to understand new experiences. You're gonna have to dig deep into them holes. You're gonna go through a lot of new experiences. Especially, for instance, when we made our podcast, we didn't know how to we didn't know what mics to use. We didn't know what auxiliary chords to use. We didn't know none of this shit. We didn't know the best programs to use. We didn't know none of this shit. But if we was to be like, well, we gotta ask this, figure this out before all that shit happened, like I said, this kind of goes against what I was saying in the sense of already doing it. But we had to just hop into it. We couldn't just keep waiting. And I guess it still plays into it because we're not waiting. We're just doing it because we did wait so long in the sense of let's do this. Let's make sure we right with this. And it's like, man, nah. We just got to start doing it. And eventually when we just said, fuck it, let's just do it, we start doing it. And it's that simple. But, like I said, y'all know I be forgetting why I even brought certain shit up. I mean, I know why, but in the sense of not having everything together in the sense shit. It's gonna seem like hell. Like, bro, we used to fuck up. For instance, this nigga D-Frame muted us for 30 minutes of some cold ass shit we was talking about. 30 minutes we'll never get back. 30 minutes we'll never execute on again. That shit, you can harp on that shit or just keep pushing. That's why when I say, like, it's, it sucks as hell, whatever. But you keep going through it, you keep pushing and stop being complacent and stop trying to make everything perfect originally and just go. Just put the shit out. Niggas want everything to just be the best shit out. I need a following first, so I need this first before. Nah, nigga, just do it. Put it out and see what happens. That's the best case scenario. You see how many niggas put out shit and some freestyle, some bullshit ass freestyle or some bullshit ass roast or something, and now they're famous? Like, nigga, just put this shit out. Just go with it. And that's more like I said, that's not having that stability and shit like that. So yeah, I guess I'm on point, but I be getting lost in my points. Let's see what's point. Pretty much I talk about thinking about being a trailblazer. Like literally you creating or starting something different that hasn't been seen before. Even if it's something similar to like say you're in the tech industry, yeah, you're not trailblazing. You are trailblazing technology, but you didn't create technology in a sense. So making my point harder to say in a sense by going that deep or whatever. But in the sense of you creating some shit that's different. You creating some shit that's new. Even if it's in the image of some shit that's old, it's new or different. Think of how many different people gonna tell you that shit won't work. Think about how many people gonna tell you that don't look right. That's not the way to do it. It's better ways to do it. That shit sucks because that's that shit when I was talking about don't listen to your grandpa. Don't listen to your uncle that tell you to go get that factory job that's gonna work for 12 hours a day and you're not gonna want to do shit else. 12 hours a day, 6 days a week. Like nigga, nah, work a part-time job if you got to, and then go out and do some other shit. You might be directly on zero when it come to all bills budgeted, but nigga, it's better than to do that, have a zero budget and doing your passion than to have $1,000, $2,000, $4,000 in the bank and not be doing what you love. At least not even attempting to start doing what you love. Because a lot of people think, for instance, I talked to my mom. She like to decorate and do shit people and do stuff for people, but like in a sense of graduation parties and all that type of stuff. But it's hard for her because she worked 12 hours and I mean she got 3 kids that she still constantly has to take care of. But in that same sense, and she's just slowly what she doing now, and she might not even realize it. Whenever she do it, it helps her be more. She's just like that. It helps her be creative. It helps her do what she loves to do, even though she might be tired and all that shit. That's something she can start doing now and slowly start building. But she thinks that she don't have no time to really start a foundation like that. I'm like, just slowly do it. You already do it once, maybe twice a month. I mean, every 2 months or whatever. So I mean, just keep doing it, but just up your price. Like you're professional. Every time you do some shit, you do it well. So up your price and do it every 2 or 3 months. But now your price is just helping you out. So maybe you can start taking less and less hours at work so you can be part time. And now you just rebalance it in a sense. But while you're doing it, like I said, it's gonna might feel like hell because you're in two different worlds. You gotta work, then you gotta create for yourself. And it's like, man, I either want to do one or the other. But it's like, do you want to be happy? If you want to be happy, you gotta do both until you can, weed out the other shit that you really truly don't want to do at all. Because I mean, it just is what it is. But yeah, let me see. Uh, yeah, as a trailblazer, I mean, you're going to create something new. You're going to do something different. You're going to seem weird, strange, crazy, or whatever. But literally, all the crazy people in the world are artists. All the crazy people in the world are a lot of times are looked up to. I ain't talking about the ones that are killers and physically crazy, but mentally crazy. Like they be creating some shit that we love, even if we love to hate it. Like for instance, Kanye, bro. A lot of people hate Kanye, but still fucking sit in the studio and make music with him. Like Ti was like, it's certain shit that you can't do, certain shit that you can't stand for, and it's certain lines you can't cross. Well, if you feel like Kanye crossed that line with Trump, now that means you can't do work with Kanye, because Trump is that line you can't cross. Remember? So it's like, yeah, you don't fuck with Trump because he don't got no type of resonance with you. But Kanye, he still can make music, and if he can express himself in his music or whatever. For instance, I want to talk about this on the podcast, which I still am. Like, I feel like Kanye was using Ti just like how Drake felt like he was used. Yeah, let's talk, let's argue, let's debate, but let's see if we can make a song about it too. And it's like Kanye might be in the right heart, so he might not be doing that shit on the whole shit. And he might just be, in the moment. So when shit come out later, it seems kind of fucked up. But he was in the moment to create something great, and that's where you get. He might be crazy, bipolar, and all that shit. But nigga, that's where he get that great music from. Same with Lady Gaga. You can't tell me she don't look mentally deranged, nigga, with the certain shit she do. But yet she creates, and millions of people like her. Same with people like nigga. Some people never do acid. Some people never do shrooms. But love fucking Jimi Hendrix. Love all these rock stars. Love all these rappers that never touch certain shit and love the fuck out these people. And it's because, why? They're trailblazers. And they look crazy. They're going to look different. They're going to look weird. And for them, they ignored that shit. They stopped giving a fuck what other people said. And Joey Diaz was just talking about that. I'm definitely going to tag that video in there because it was just a great video. Joey Diaz is a great person to listen to when you just understand and getting right into yourself. Because he don't give a fuck about dick. That's his shit. And He real about that, bro. It's like a lot of us care too much about other people's opinion. The only opinion you should care about is your shit. You got your foundation good. You got your shit squared away, bro. You don't give a fuck about shit outside of you because your shit's good. But they just go to show when you always worry about how people look at you, you're not really right inside. Your foundation, your structure inside not good if you always questioning how this look on you and shit like that. It looks good if it's you. For instance, I always say this. This was some confidence as me as a little kid. No, I always used to be like this. No disrespect to women because y'all all are beautiful, but this was just my way of keeping my ego going. Not even my ego, just keeping my confidence going. No woman's a 10 until they date me. And that's period. Any woman that's a 10, I look at her, it's the beautifulest woman I know. Period. Because I date you, not any other woman. Period. You can look at me, it's like, oh, you're delusional or insane, but it's like, no. That's how I keep my magic going with my person that I love. I constantly think there's other women that's more beautiful out there. It'll kind of go against me. I think my girl's the most beautiful woman out there. So in that sense, nigga, it's gonna be hard to beat her or match that. Unless somehow you magically appear in my life and I start to care. Well, other than that, it's gonna take some work. Cause I mean, me and her put in work. But in that same instance, whatever. I've always been like that since a kid, bro. Once we date, you're the finest. You're a 10. You're a dime. Cause I'm a dime. We amplify each other type shit. But I know, like I said, it's a confident shit. It came from as a kid, but that's the foundation I built on, and it's a foundation I can see how that shit worked for me. Didn't give a fuck when nobody said about my girl in the sense that they'd be like, she ugly or you can find better. Like, nah, I'm good. My mom used to be like, oh, this girl look better, that girl look better. I disagree. And I keep rocking with the girl I'm with. And that's just how it is. It might not have been for my benefit or what. But I damn sure learned. I damn sure figured it out from that energy. And then, like I said, I went through my lessons with that confidence, good or bad. I learned off their foundations and shit. It still worked for me, so I'm gonna keep it going. That's just realistic. Most people wouldn't want to say that. But, it is what it is. Like, bro, you should think the person you date. I don't know, man. It seems pretty logical to me. Like you think your mom's the best mom in the world when there's a million other moms out there. It's just the same. I think it's the same energy. You think you think your situation is the best or the worst or whatever. So I think that shit same applies. But what else getting into? Trailblazers. Yeah, just think about how many people told them their structure and integrity was off. Or it wasn't gonna be able to hold up. Like the walls was gonna crash in on each other, the roof was gonna cave in. It's a bunch of niggas like that. For instance, if I'm not mistaken, the person that built the one of them temples or churches or whatever, like them temples with like perfect symmetry and shit like that. I think they said it was impossible to be done, but the dude still did it. I might be making some shit up. But, it's people that's going to say that all the time. For instance, that's why I said I was going to talk about LeVar. This nigga, Cohoward, or whatever, FS1 was like, the JBA is a great idea. LeVar's just not the right person to do it. Like, nigga, you telling me I got a good blueprint, but I'm just not the right builder when I created this blueprint? Like, when I'm the one that had the vision to even start creating this shit first and have faith in it, you telling me I'm not the right builder? How does that even make sense? Nobody else has invested as much as me because why? I'm actually doing it. Right fucking now. I ain't thinking about it. I ain't talking about it. I ain't saying this in the near future. Nigga, it's right now. That's LeVar. But that's why I go into, when I say people gonna go against you, whatever, until you get that clout, until you get that shit. And I've been talking to my boys about that shit and how I feel like we can keep doing more in the sense of, we can be more consistent. That's the biggest thing. Just going the hardest, maybe go 2 days a week, maybe. But that's when we get more consistency in ourselves or whatever. But having our foundations and shit together better. Once we get that shit down, it'd be a lot easier to create with each other. But in that same sense, what I want to say. I hate when I do this shit. Hit points. Integrity, blueprint, being consistent. Oh, clout. All right. For instance, besides the consistency thing, I think our energy be right. I think we'd be good, but it's more of like when people see you good, people be like, "Oh, I want to fuck with him now." That's just simple. When people see that other people fucking with you, it's easier for them to fuck with you. Nobody want to be a trailblazer. Nobody want to be the first person to say fuck with them. Because when you do that and they fail, then like, "Oh, what happened to your boys?" And now you can get played, but it ain't even. That's on some weak shit. Be confident in shit that you like and watch and express that shit. But even then, like we see Twitter, bro. Like one person to say some shit, no tweets. Somebody else to take their tweet, they got clout, and everybody retweet that shit and be like, "Oh, you're God, you're gold, like you're genius." But you only say that because you feel like they are. Before they would have said that. You think they got money, so you think they're a genius by nature, bro. And anybody else without money, dumb or whatever. Well, yeah. LeVar is a great example of a nigga that already had a blueprint, but they were like, "You just not a good enough builder." And that shit's the craziest shit ever. When they first used to build skyscrapers, they was like, you couldn't. I believe they was like, you can't do that because they earthquakes and storms will knock them over. But dude was just like, "Nah, I'm gonna figure it out." He dug deeper, he built a stronger foundation to go higher. It's that simple. Well, yeah, off the Trailblazer. These are my last points before I end it. Just finishing off with the structure and integrity. Like, for instance, think about old versus new. Anytime it was some new, they'd be like, "That shit ain't gonna work." Let's think about sports because that's the best example. Niggas start shooting more and more 3-pointers like the past 5 years. Back before, everything operated from the post, then outside. And now all these 3-point shooters, they're like, "Man, shit ain't gonna work." But as soon as they win a championship, everybody else trying to shoot 3-pointers in the league. Why? Because now it's proven it can work. Even though it might have been successful before, niggas it wasn't winning the big thing, so niggas ain't had confidence in it. Only person that had confidence, or only people that had confidence in it, is the team that kept doing it until it worked. And then once it worked, now everybody else trying to hop on. But it's too late now, nigga. We the kings of this shit. Rockets can come along, try to shoot threes. Shit, any other team around trying to shoot threes, but no, ain't nobody gonna do as good as the Warriors. Why? Because they created that foundation. Period. They capital, even if they didn't create it, it might have been other teams before that. They made that foundation championship proof. And once they did that, bro, once even you get championship confidence, bro, it's hard to beat that team. Period. Because their foundation so strong. But you also have to be confident in that foundation before it wins, type shit. And then once you win, you see how all these people start coming along. And that's why, like I say, with the podcast or any other thing that people do, like a lot of times, just keep faith in yourself, keep your head down, keep working till that right person hear you, till that right person put you out, till that right person shout you out. This person might have 1,000 loyal followers, and once they shout you out, they 1,000 loyal followers, 500 retweet they shit. Now you popping. Literally, who just I'm watching Vlad. Yeah, Lil Yachty. He was like a comic used his song in a bit, and then everybody started looking up the song. And then they were just talking about how Lil Yachty possibly wouldn't have been famous or wouldn't have got famous as fast. He would still probably been a SoundCloud rapper if that comic didn't decide to use this shit in a bit. So that's what I mean when I say once that one person use it and he has a loyal following, that following can help you go. Cause that's like, that's it's really a boost in this shit, in a sense. Somebody with a bright light picked up your light and decided to show it. Even if it was to make a joke about it, it was strong enough for them to see it. It was strong enough for them to make a bit about that shit and for it to last. Even if they were playing you. Nigga, you know how hard it is to make a bit about something, even if it's like knocking something, nigga, you gotta have a couple different examples and foundations on that shit even to play it. Cause I mean, bro, comedy you just can't say one thing and that's it. Like, what else? What else goes to the joke? You gotta set the joke up type shit. So you gotta be invested enough to set jokes up, get invested just to get the crowd into it. Even if it's just a joke about Lil Yachty. Like for me, I could talk about Lil Pumps and all these little niggas, but that don't mean I'm good enough to make a stand up joke off that shit and make people laugh off that shit just because I don't like them. So in that same energy, you gotta put enough. They have to have enough energy for you to use, for you to see them, and then even to want to even make a bit about it. And then make that bit for you to make that bit and then think it's gonna work on the crowd and other people will like it, even though they might not have ever heard that shit either. So you taking the leap of faith too, because you're the one that's the first person to hear it. So yeah, whatever, whatever. Y'all hear me? I hope. But yeah, like I said, just with basketball, you'll say they structure interrogate y'all. For like, for instance, they were just talking about today, the Lakers can't keep up this pace. But what if they can? What if they do? It's possible to win a championship off that shit. Same with the JBA. They be like, JBA in the real league because they score 100 and something points a game. Well, the NBA used to be like that. It was a time when they ran up the field way more than they did now. Then there was a time where it slowed down till it was only like when Jordan was playing the points per possession or whatever, it went down even more. Points per game went down. For instance, they talk about with Russ versus Oscar Robin. Oscar Robin and them had way more possessions than Russell had. So Russ was doing it in less possessions. Versus if Jordan or somebody that averaged a triple-double, they would have did it even more less possessions than Russ because they just played even slower. So you can say certain shit wouldn't work anymore. Like you can say that slow shit wouldn't work in this day and age, or the 2-point game wouldn't work in this day and age. Until the Spurs win again, or this another team come up and start busting people ass with the 2-point game and never missing off the 2-point game, hitting pick and rolls and shit that ain't been seen in a while because other niggas ain't used to holding that shit no more. Like you right back to busting their ass with some old shit. And that's kind of going to not knowing your history and not being versed in everything because you so stuck in your foundation, not understanding there's other foundations there that you can also pull from. You shouldn't just get rid of it because it's old or some shit like that. Because somebody else will come with this old shit remastered and fuck you up on some shit because you so caught up on your, not focusing on that shit. But whatever, getting deep. Same shit with football where niggas only use running backs and then the quarterbacks finally start using them. Once the quarterbacks start throwing and winning championships, everybody need a quarterback. The running backs get obsolete. Niggas ain't even getting drafted in the first round. I mean, recently they have, but it was a while where niggas weren't even valued no more. And that's just because it's a damn age where it changed. It was some trailblazers that decided to be different, and you gotta understand how many people told him that he was gonna fucking fail, but they end up winning the championship. Now everybody dick riding. So yeah, and in a sense, like I say, this is a point that's really off of that point. Just even if you do have your foundation, be aware of all the things that you've used and how you've gotten to where you've gotten before. For instance, the 3-point game that Curry and them use, shit, that pick and roll game lethal too. They just not coming up and doing ISO 3-point game because that shit would be stupid. They still use parts of that pick and roll and understand that pick and roll. And they also understand they still have to win. You still got to use defense. So they still use a lot of the old shit, like defense win championship. People always talk about the Warrior offense, but rarely talk about their defense. So they still use a lot of old fundamentals, and with their new fundamentals, and that's helped them get to where they're at now. Some teams don't understand it, like the Rockets. They feel like long as we outscore them, we good. No, nigga, they play defense too. So yeah, you're gonna have to do that. Period. Even with, let's go back to football. Even teams that's had a great quarterback, they ain't winning shit without a decent running back. Period. I don't give a fuck, even in this age. I already talked about that. From the Marshawn Lynch's to CJ Anderson to who just won the last year. I ain't been watching recently, but bro, period. You gonna need a nice running back just to get there, period, bro. Because once you get in that cold, which the playoffs are in, nigga, you need somebody that's gonna run that ball, get that defense tired, and a bunch of other shit. If it's raining, all different, windy, all that shit. When it's just cold, raining, windy, whatever, it's harder to throw, it's harder to catch, it's all that shit. Your hands hurt. So you gotta put that on a nigga bread basket, let him run it up the motherfucking mouth. Run it in their mouth. But like I said, people fell off of that. And some teams only want to have a good quarterback like Matthew Stafford. They don't have really shit else. They ain't doing nothing. Drew Brees even talked about it. He like, man, I can be great, but without a good running back, that shit don't matter. He even said that recently. And he had Mark Ingram and Reggie Bush. They wasn't great, but them niggas was they did what they had to do. They were lethal enough. They was used in a scheme right too. They were even just stupid running backs, but they used them right. And they figured that shit out. But yeah, I mean, people thought Drew Brees was done. They thought him passing and doing all that shit was gonna be crazy, even in the era when he won that Super Bowl. Cause Peyton Manning throw it and shit, but he had running backs. and shit like that. Drew Brees is the first nigga to be throwing the ball like 40, 50 times a game. Like, wasn't nobody else doing that shit. A nigga end up winning the championship like that. Let's look at Brett Favre. Just sports are easy to talk about because sports have so many different stories that you can relate to. Like I talk about underdog, the elitist, everything, the middleman, nigga that can't never win. Nigga, it's everywhere. It's all the stories mixed in one. And we talk about storylines and they pick best storylines and shit like that. But look at Brett Favre. He was a dangerous thrower. And like nobody, no quarterback can win a championship being that dangerous of a thrower, having that many interceptions, being that careless with the ball. Championship, more championships. He died back a little bit, but he was so much of a gunslinger. He lost some games like that too. But it did end up winning the championship. So I mean, Brett Favre stayed in his shit, even though niggas said it wasn't gonna work. Niggas said it was crazy. His structural integrity wasn't gonna work, and or it wasn't, good. Niggas still figured it out. But yeah, I think that's all really I had, pretty much with notes. Just go back over everything I said real quick. Well, there's an understanding that you're the first to do it, and even if like say you're a corporate, say you at working at a corporate job, you could be a trailblazer in that facility, use the most to make them sales or whatever. You might be doing something in somewhere. I hate when I use basic words, but I don't be trying to use big words. But yeah, you can be in somebody else's corporation and still be a trailblazer inside of their shit. So even in that understanding, like they're gonna look at you differently because you're gonna have to come up with new tactics. You're not gonna be able to use the same shit that everybody else is using because you got to outsell everybody that's been there before. So you're gonna have to come up with new shit that they haven't been teaching you or wasn't in the manual of on how to do sales or wasn't in the training video or whatever you want to call it. You're gonna have to do shit differently. You're gonna have to probably pull from some other type of sales experience, mix that with some shit that you learned from somewhere else, being a people person, a true people person, salesman, and mix a couple different worlds, and then be that trailblazer. But like I said, people gonna be like, nah, that ain't the right way. That's not professional or whatever. Because sometimes you be too professional where you can't make a sale and you're not relatable. So sometimes you got to bring it down a notch, and people might not like that. Why you too lazy? You don't like you take it serious, but nigga, my numbers good. But yeah, and then corporations kind of getting their feelings like, well, you know, who this nigga think he is? We've been here forever. So then you be like, well, fuck, I'm working under y'all shit, doing all my shit, going hard, but y'all still don't value me. Being a trailblazer, understanding that people gonna talk to you all crazy and shit, and that's gonna feel like hell. It's gonna feel like a lot of different shit going on. But I ain't even really wrapped up my whole point because that was my whole fucking topic of the video, creating hell to go to heaven. You go through all these different experiences, so now you can be a trailblazer for yourself. Now you can create for yourself, and you have these experiences because, like I talked about earlier, nigga, without the fucking without the experiences or the lessons and shit like that, bro, you're gonna be going through life with these millions of dollars and not knowing how to hold on to that millions because you never held on to 1,000, you never held on to 100. Like niggas want to go win a lotto. No knock to my friends because they're just talking about that shit, but we see it. We just see it happen all the time. Niggas blow their millions. Not saying my friends do that, but niggas will blow their millions just as fast as they get it because they have no foundation on how to keep millions. They don't know how to keep it recycling. They never knew how to make money work for itself. So they just gonna go buy a bunch of liabilities and never have any assets. And that's just not having any experiences. So yeah, you got heaven, but that heaven gonna create a deeper hell for you because you didn't have a foundation for yourself. So now you're gonna have to go start back over because you was so up here, but now you gotta start back over, and you might not even have the energy because you and I already lost it. You didn't realize it. Trailblazer going through the dirt because the dirt in your foundation, everything's gonna be built on the dirt, bro. You gotta build from there. You gotta get dirty, and the higher you want to build, the higher you want your ceiling to be, the bigger you want your peak to be, the digger you gonna the deeper you're gonna have to dig in that soil and that dirt in that mud to get what you want. The more you're gonna have to drill out because the deeper you get harder to get. Like the beginning, that topsoil is easy to pull out. It's even more of an analogy. The deeper you get, the harder you gotta drill. the more work you got to put in. And then it's even crazy because you going down and you trying to build the tallest skyscraper ever, but you going down right now. But nobody understand why you building. Why you keep digging? Why you going this way when you talk about you gonna have this high ass skyscraper? Well, I can't have a high skyscraper without my foundation. People don't know that shit. People just think you can just build on the ground. But nah, nigga, that shit don't work. Uh, Damn, something popped up in my head, but I will. Yeah, and the last thing I pretty much said was, stability ain't everything. Stop saying you're gonna have to. Stop. You'll be perfect once you get the perfect person. I know you need to start building yourself up way before they even get there. Even if you're not there, at least you have. At least you in work. At least you're a work in progress. At least you started the shit, and that's the biggest thing. Like nobody really want to fuck with you if you're not, fucking with yourself or working on yourself. Like even if you're not perfect now, if somebody see you trying, they'll put effort to help you. But if you just crying and what do you call it? Crying over spoiled milk or just pouting over some shit that you can just move on from, bro. Nobody want to help that person. Nobody want to hear that shit because you don't want to help yourself. So why somebody else want to help you? So not always having that stability and being comfortable in yourself and understanding that shit, you are your stability. Like nothing else really gonna guarantee that happiness, and that's really the biggest thing. Like your happiness, ultimately your happiness. So I really fucked up on it. Like I said, I was gonna be done. I ain't even tied into the spirit because this is all tying into the spirit. And I'm talking about business and corporations and shit. But in that same shit, bro, creating an actual heaven for yourself. Like, bro, we go through all these hellish scenarios, learn through all these different poisons that we hate, meet all these different people that's against us to understand and be able to work with people that is for us. Because we're better. We're not gullible. We're not vulnerable. We're not weak. We're not susceptible. Because if you are susceptible, weak, and all those other things I just said, when you say you try to work with somebody else's foundation, nigga, you leaving the back gate open because you weak. They strong, but since they got you around, you gonna bring them down in this sense. So that's not good. When they say keep yourself around millionaires, like bro, if you ain't really strong in yourself or in your integrity, you're not gonna be able to hang around millionaires because you're gonna always feel like they stunting on you, and that's the cold hard truth. Like, and they're not stunned. That's just how they are in reality. That's they space. They got money. They can splurge. You can't. You want to be around them so you can find that energy, but you gotta understand how you can also look at that shit as a negative, which most people end up doing when it's a big person around. They'll smile in the face, but when they ain't around, you be talking shit because they got what you don't, in a sense. Well, yeah, tying it into the spirit, like you meet these parasites. We go through this world that sucks us, our our, our physical energy dry in a sense, our emotional energy, it sucks us dry until we become strong enough or we become broken. It's gonna do one thing or the other. That's how I look at it. It's gonna break you. It's gonna make you. They fucking when they cut their tub on, that should be so loud. But yeah. I mean, like I said, going through hell in the sense of it's experiences that you not prepared for, wisdom that you don't have yet. So I mean, if you don't have all the wisdom yet, you gonna fall short in certain shit, bro. That's just period, bro. We're not we're not 100% in. How do I want to say this? We're not 100% strong yet. So we're not gonna be walking through shit with ease. So you gotta understand, if you're not, we're not in heaven yet. Period. People like to make it out like that. Me and D were just talking about that. I always talk about the over positive people, but the people that always wake up and smile and hug people, like I was saying, different. It's polarity. Like it's not necessarily that you always depressed, but nigga, you're not always gonna be happy. Sometimes you're just in the middle, keeping your head down and just doing what you got to do. But some people that's always want to fake happiness, it's a good chance that they on the opposite side of that spectrum, which is sad or depressed. Period. But the people that's realistic, they want to call us depressed because we realistic. But it's like, no, nigga, I'm just being real. And from that realism, I can start building. But yeah, everybody different. Some people got to fake it till they make it. Some people are better at being real. It's hard for me to fake it till I make it. I'm not gonna lie to you. I can try. I do my best. I ain't even gonna lie. It's certain shit. You put that mask on, and you just got to do it. Cause I mean, you go out in public, you can't let everybody know that you always in your head and shit like that. Cause people can play off that. But yeah, I mean, for the most part, it just is what it is. Lost my train of thought again. Oh yeah, that's pretty much it, man. Understanding we're gonna go through hell, we're gonna go through dirt, gonna go through mud. Nigga, when did it start raining? Well, yeah, I'm up out this thing, man. I'm rambling. Deuces. Thanks for liking. Thanks for subscribing. Thanks for commenting. I'm out. Oh, wait. Go watch the new episode of Absolutely Unsure on SoundCloud, on iTunes. You can look in the my Absolutely Unsure playlist for our videos that we have up to date. Check us out, man. Up and Going podcast. Really the best out. Nigga just be hating right now. But like I said, thank y'all for liking. Thank y'all for going to watch that because I already know the people that fuck with me is deuces.